Welcome to the freaking after party. Today's moments lost in time, like tears in rain, are reserved exclusively for our Patreon supporters, which is you. I am going to have Anita and Inkoo watch one of my favorite off-the-rails promotional interviews for Blade Runner 2049.
So please go watch it. The link is in the show notes before you continue listening to this episode.
Got these glasses in because these were from the original Blade Runner. Oh, cool. This is what they used. Beautiful. So I thought, you know, attention to details for fans will probably like that.
That's so cool that you did that. Yeah. Are you a fan of the original?
Never seen it.
I appreciate your candor.
Bleak, dystopian, an absolute nightmare, to be honest with you. That's just my interviewing techniques. Yeah. But let's talk about the movie Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. Cheer up.
Well, you know, it's a bit of a bleak day.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a lovely day in London. Let's keep it that way.
I'm so sorry.
This is not the introduction we were promised. Bring me on with a little happier music. You know.
Well, there's so much secrecy around this new film. What can you tell me about it? Obviously, you've told me that it's you having a drink.
I think it's. I feel like that's where this is headed.
Harrison, when you got that call to say, "Listen, we're making another Blade Runner, and we want you to be in it," what was your reaction?
So what? No. In theory, no. Help yourselves. I notice there's nothing left for me.
Cheers, Ryan. Oh, I needed that. I've warmed up.
Really said, would you be interested? I said,
how much?
Show me the money. No, I said, show me the script. Anyway.
Should we talk to Ryan?
Yeah, talk to him.
I don't think so.
Did you have much fun on the set?
Yeah, it was great fun.
Did you get your knitting needles out? Because I know you like to relax.
Oh, we're going to go there.
We're going to go with the knitting.
Oh, it's going to be like that.
Look at your jumper. I just looked at your jumper and I thought, yeah. Did you knit that?
This is what I did on set. I knitted this sweater.
It's a nice sweater.
It's Blade Runner inspired. I don't know what to say now. I don't know. Is this an interview or is this?
All right, I'll go with you, Harrison. You're my man. You're my man today. Get out of the way.
Thank you. Do you guys need help with the cameras? Can I?
35 years since the role. How did you find the stunts?
I found them extremely difficult, which accounts for the fact that I hit this guy one time.
That's show business.
The story is that I missed him 99 times. And
they say
once.
Don't meet your heroes. I would say don't get punched by them. Turns out it doesn't matter who you're getting punched by. It's still just getting punched.
You've obviously been in Blade Runner, a sequel to one of Harrison's films. Would you like to maybe be in a sequel to one of his films, maybe La La Land?
Yeah, you want to do a young
dance.
Hercules?
You can't dance.
Can't sing.
Really?
That's not true.
Can't play
the voice
piano.
of an angel.
Really?
It's like an angel pouring honey in your ear. We're working on our harmonies right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Go for it.
No.
We're gonna keep working on them.
Can I just go back and talk
molding
about
things
wait a second,
and creating?
Can I just go back and
natural
talk
elements.
about?
Sorry,
Is this a bad time? For
yeah,
you?
just.
Here you go.
Beautiful day, huh?
Thank you.
There is a darkness and there is a dystopian atmosphere, but there is also a triumph of the human spirit. Okay.
I'm invested.
All right.
What can you add to that?
Is there a mic I can drop?
Well, it's lovely to meet you both.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you. That's the funniest interview ever.
What a way to start the day. This morning?
This morning. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
What a morning.
You know I don't drink.
This is obviously for the sequel. This was on their press junket. Alison Hammond for the British television news entertainment show This Morning. Just bonkus wonkus off the rails.
So fucking banana soup. Like, just what is even happening?
Now, Inkoo, you're a professional. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are that the British, for whatever reason, British celebrity interviewers, I feel like tend to be much more loose and tend to elicit much more loose sort of like interviews with celebrities, especially American celebrities. I think part of it, this is like pure conjecture on my part, is that the British like actor system is just like not as like highfalutin and just like not as like costed by money as Hollywood stars are. And so there isn't this like constant kid gloves treatment over there. One of my favorite things to do when I'm like really bored is watch clips from Graham Norton.
Yes.
Who just like does not give a flying hoot about like paying deference to celebrities in the way that like I think most American talk shows do here. And so, yeah, first of all, if I'm giving you like a professional POV, once in a while I will get a celebrity or whoever say, "Oh, you actually watched the movie." And I'm always like, yes. Who doesn't? It seems like sort of like the baseline for doing your job. But I guess a lot of celebrity interviewers do not actually watch. And I'm glad that I have had some bad interviews in my life, but never one this bad.
I think what I love about this, that's the like, and I wonder,
I mean, off the rails.
Yeah, like this interview, and I have watched a few other Alison Hammond interviews, but like this seems to just be a little bit of a perfect storm of things. Like there are definitely actors who would not roll with this and who it would make it very uncomfortable. I think what's great about this is that like we want to say like, of course, we all love film and media and art and like we find meaning in it. That's why we spend so much goddamn time talking about it. But like at the end of the day, Ryan Gosling was in Young Hercules and the Mickey Mouse Club, and Harrison Ford is a big time stoner who would probably rather just be like doing carpentry and with his money or whatever, flying his plane. So the fact that like she is really not taking their work super seriously is, I think, just kind of amazing. And the fact that they're like, yeah, well, what do you want me to say? Like, here I am. I got the paycheck already.
I think it's interesting, Inkoo, that you're talking about the way, you're just hypothesizing about the way the British media treats celebrity. And I think it's also interesting in contrast to the fact that like British paparazzi is extremely invasive. And like, we know that American paparazzi is invasive, but like really, it's really bad there. And I wonder like if that's sort of related or separated out or what. I also wonder too about like the fact that the PR and studios give very specific notes about what can and can't be discussed and what they can and can't say. And like something like this, there's someone on the sidelines that's just like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Like, we did not approve this, but there is a sense of like people like to see celebrities being human and like feeling like they can identify with them in this day and age of social media and being more real and more authentic and all that. And like, there's a lot of that energy here where you're like, oh, like they can joke around too, or whatever.
Right. Like, would Angeline go on Hot Ones? I would like you to answer this question. Seriously.
I don't think Angeline would ever be invited on Hot Ones, but I feel like, so much of like that particular show is like very persuasive in its depiction that Angeline does not want to be considered a human being. She wants to be considered a sort of like projection for fantasies. And so if the point of Hot Ones is to try to get people to say things that they don't want to, and her whole thing is like an image of like immaculate control, I don't think that she would be the right candidate for that. I also want to say in response to Anita, I don't think of like the British tabloid press as the same as like a morning news show. It's like Good Morning America isn't like News of the World or whatever, or the National Enquirer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's always fun when, you know, like we're so used to these like very scripted interactions between an interviewer and a celebrity. And it's sort of like fun when both sides are kind of able to acknowledge the performativity latent in like these scenes that have been like laid out for everyone. And people are just sort of like, yes, like this is like a stupid little skit that like we're putting on ad nauseum to because we made like a $200 million movie. And now we have to be on TV like 200 million times to promote it.
Yeah.
I think it's like fun. I think like the most surprising thing is that Harrison Ford actually played along.
Yeah.
Well, and I suspect that like she would have, like the interviewer would have changed her tone if they both were like, I'm not engaging with this. But like, because it, like she just was, as a good professional interviewer, like you're kind of going with the flow and like feeling out the situation and the vibes and like they're going with it. And it has 16 million views, like good for them in their broadcast. Right. But I think there's another thing. And I don't know how the British media works, but like if you fuck up as the interviewer, you might never get gigs with that studio or that PR agency again. Right. So there's definitely like I have to celebrate everything. I have to like be really positive. We can't like, you know, bring up any controversial questions or else I could lose my job, which I think is.
This like so obviously takes place within like an economy of virality where 16 million people saw this on YouTube, and it is like original broadcasting. If everything had gone well, like 600,000 people might have seen it. And so I can only imagine that like the publicists, at least like now, are like really fucking thrilled that it happened this way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm sure they're trying to recreate this kind of like, how can we get that moment again? And the thing is, like, I don't think Alison Hammond, watching this, I'm not like, wow, what a terribly unprofessional. Like, I don't feel negatively towards her, but I do think like if Ryan Gosling wasn't there, Harrison Ford might have been like, what's happening? You know, and then she'd have to course correct. Like, but there is something about I don't know. I think that's like just something I always want to kind of remember is like, this is supposed to be fun. You know?
Yeah. And I think, you know, like a movie is so dire. And one of the things that I feel like happens a lot when you're promoting a movie is like, if your movie is X, like the thing that you want to project during your press tour is like the opposite of X. Like, I don't know. Like the movie is so like dour and self-serious, and then you have these like two actors who are being like, I'm joshing around. I remember when you enjoyed my presence, and these like lighter things, which like both of them really have made their Hollywood careers playing like being in lighter projects like Indiana Jones or La La Land or whatever. I don't think that hurts them one bit.
Yeah, and also like, look, this was probably like a day or a week of them doing interviews, being asked the same questions over and over and over again. Like for them, at least, I'm sure this was like like they both looked a little bit uncomfortable and went with it, but like also kind of a relief in some ways because, you know, everyone asks the same fucking questions. And I struggle with this when I moderate panels because I always ask the people before I'm interviewing them, is there like anything you're tired of talking about? Or is there anything you want to be asked that you're never asked? Because like, and you know, I have to remember that, well, the audience hasn't heard them say it 500,000 times, but also like, I know what it's like to be on the other side and being like, I'm so tired of saying this soundbite that I've crafted over and over and over again. And so like, really, I like moderating. I'm not like the best moderator in the world, but like a really good moderator can really pull stuff out that is unique, or like get them to get interviewees to tell stories or to like be a little more comfortable. And so much of it is also like the comfort level of the interviewees. Like sometimes you're talking to people and you can't get anything out of them, and you're like, you have to fill 30 minutes and they answered all your questions in 5 minutes. And you're like, oh, this is going to be real long. I don't know how to do this anymore.
Or sometimes you get those great moments, like one that I've cross-stitched onto and framed for a friend, which is there can be 100 people in a room and 99 of them don't believe in you, but all it takes is one, which Lady Gaga said 4,000 times about Bradley Cooper during the A Star is Born tour. Like to the point where it was like, she is performing the shit out of this line every single time, but no one is asking her anything to get her to say anything else. And yeah, that's the...
And yet she could not save House of Gucci.
No, sadly.
You know, speaking of Ridley Scott, I went to like the LA premiere of House of Gucci totally by accident. This is not a humble brag at all. I mean, I guess it is, but it was and like Ridley Scott comes out on stage and then like the whole cast comes out and I'm just like listening to Ridley Scott talk about this movie and being like, man, you've made some really good movies and also like the worst movies ever. Like I just had this like intense dissonance of like, you are like the best worst director or the worst best director. I don't know. Like you've like destroyed things that people love desperately, but you've also created them, you know? Yeah.
You know, I've only ever been to, while we're name dropping, I've only ever been to one movie premiere and I worked in the industry. I only got one invite.
What was
Terminator Genesis.
Oh, but I love Mackenzie Davis so much. And that movie,
yeah. We all love Mackenzie Davis. But like,
that was a painful one.
I almost don't ever want to go to another movie premiere so that like when I die, that can be in my like my obituary. She went to one movie premiere and Jai Courtney was there.
Amazing. All right. Thank you all for listening and joining us on this YouTube interviewing journey. We will see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.